Let us start. We should always remember and answer the question by our daily life experience, what to do to become a seeker. To become a seeker, we have already understood it is listening and learning from a teacher, followed by the contemplation, reflection, and practice. Normally, what happens in the spirituality, we talk too much about the spirituality and we walk too little. We talk too much in the spirituality and we walk too little. We talk too much in the spirituality and we walk too little. So that is why I say the journey to become a seeker, I'm little bit deviating, and then we will take up the same metaphor again. So I'm focusing on, if we are not a seeker, then the journey is not complete. So the simple thing is, we talk too much in the spirituality and we walk too little. Did you understand? Oh, yes, I have understood. So after the session, I return to the same behavior and attitude. Oh, no, no, I have understood. Oh, close your eyes and focus on the breath, and meditation is done. So there is a great importance of contemplation and reflection. I won't say you are obsessed, but you listen and learn, and then your mind is constantly contemplating and reflecting. And when that happens, I want to give you an example of Sam. Sam is learning, and I'm coaching him. So he explained it beautifully yesterday when we had that coaching, what exactly is the contemplation and reflection. So, Sam, can you talk a bit? What did you speak to me yesterday? It doesn't mean that I don't love you all. I love everyone. But if your mind feels that no, this guy is only focused on Sam, then you are not a seeker. So let us, Sam.
So you want me to define contemplation and reflection?
Yeah, what you did practically.
Where I believe we gave the example of eating pasta, right? And we were talking about that, and sometimes we have desires, but the ability to contemplate and reflect is to realize that the desire is not that you have to eat pasta. It could be that you just are hungry and you need to fulfill a need, and you can eat anything. So the mind makes us crazy by making it so that we have to eat pasta to fulfill the desire, but we could have fulfilled the desire by eating a piece of fruit instead of pasta. So that can extend itself to many different circumstances beyond beyond eating. You just have to think about what is your mind asking you, right? And what's separating what is the part of it that matters and what's the part of it that doesn't. That's the discernment.
Yes, you have to introduce discernment by contemplation and reflection at every moment in your life. You have to live consciously. You have to live consciously. That helps us to become a seeker. So, the contemplation and reflection on the principles are going on continuously the moment you wake up and until you sleep. You like coffee or honey made a tea? Okay, I will take it. No, take it with the feeling inside. It's okay. Today I will have a tea only. If it is not coffee, it's okay. That is the part of contemplation. I can give you millions of examples, but if we do not contemplate, I hide my practice of meditation from honey, for example. How can you be a seeker? You're hiding what you are hiding. Come back directly. What is the journey of the Eastern wisdom? Do we see do we see and experience millions of people, plants, matter, material objects? Say yes, we see it. At present, we are seeing it. So there are many, and all came from the one reality. That is where the contemplation comes. Oh, you are David, you are Jerry, you are Sam, but I'm Girish, but inside I have a contemplative mind that perceives one is becoming many. Are you getting it? One is becoming many. I'm putting in a different way. So, what do we mean, even matter? I'm different from the matter, but how contemplation helps me outside the matter is different from me, but how that consciousness is unmanifest matter. Did you get it? How that consciousness is unmanifest matter, and how the matter, no, how the consciousness is manifest matter, how the consciousness expresses itself as a matter. There is only one reality. That is the thought pattern. If I contemplate with, instantly the mind is purified. We are doing this kind of a contemplation to purify the mind. Matter, it exists. It is unmanifest consciousness. Matter plus life. Now the consciousness is manifesting a bit. How? By the life. That is what the plant is. Matter plus life plus consciousness. Now that consciousness is manifesting little more. It became the animal kingdom. One consciousness. One and many. And now the matter plus life plus consciousness plus self-consciousness. Human being. So the consciousness is manifesting more and more as compared to animals, plants, and the matter. So there is a degree of manifestation is different. That is why we say matter is different from me. That is why we say plant is different from me. That is why we say animals are different. But fact is that it is all coming from the same consciousness. I'm reminding you the same cloth, the white cloth. On that white cloth, you have mountains. On the same white cloth, you have rivers, you have trees, you have animals. Painting. Huh? At the surface level painting, you have your picture, you have my picture, but it is on the same canvas. It is localized. It is limited. So when it is limited, it becomes a human being. We are an individual. So we have to break this barrier of ignorance that I'm an individual separate from that canvas of consciousness. So in order to become a seeker, I was telling in the very beginning that we talk too much of the spirituality. I'm blaming myself, but we walk little. That is the idea of the spirituality. We say, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. What do you mean by religious and spiritual? Do you understand? We talk too much. We walk little. And that is why this formula is given, 2L, CRP, listening and learning from a teacher, that helps to trigger the mind to make you aware of the impurities of the mind that blocks the realization of the real self, followed by the contemplation, reflection, and then we do the practice. So what happens if I claim I am a seeker and still I am not? The very first understanding is that I see the entire world is different from me. Because I'm looking at the entire painting. I don't look at the base. I don't look at the original cloth. The way I watch the movie, I don't see the screen. I'm not aware of the screen, the TV screen. That idea, that thought must live in my mind to drop what? Do you get it? To drop the likes and dislikes, to drop the obsession. What the Sam was saying, to drop an idea of getting obsessed with the pasta. No. Do you know? Do you understand what I'm saying? For existence, now see the beauty. For existence, for the consciousness, these different manifestations, expressions of mountain, trees, animals, human being, it is just a play and a fun for consciousness. But for me, it is an effort. I get limited. I enter into pain and the stress. So when I understand that it should also become a play and fun for me, I have reached there. I have found the real self. Not only here, but everywhere. So from there, this master, the same master, I went back into the 4th chapter. I realized that, it must be taken up and then we will go to the same 6th chapter that I discussed earlier. The multiplicity in the world created by the existence must be accepted. Must be accepted. But the multiplicity created by my mind inside must be dropped. Did you understand? Not a big deal. Multiplicity in the world should be understood, should be adored, should be accepted. But the multiplicity in the mind must be dropped because it comes from the likes and dislikes. It comes from my preferences. It comes due to obsession. Are you getting it? So when we awaken to this oneness in me, when I awaken to that oneness in me, when the multiplicity created by the delusion in my mind is dropped. That mind reflects the real self everywhere as a fact, as an experience. At the surface level, I experience I'm different from David and Jerry. So let me go a little deeper. So I go to the subtle plane. Subtle plane says, this mind gives the label of David and Jerry and the Girish another label. Oh, it is because of the name and the form we find that we are different. Then we go a little deeper. So when we go a little deeper, we find that these name and the form are dropped, and then ultimately we reach to the same cloth in the consciousness, we all are one. But if the mind does not drop these multiplicity created by the mind due to the delusion, now I must use your name and your uh, your name, for the sake of communicating. So that is should be accepted as clear as possible. Oh, yeah, David and Jerry. So I have accepted the multiplicity created by the word, but I do not accept the multiplicity created by the mind. No preference of likes and dislikes in the mind. That mind stops wandering and that mind becomes a seeker. And then you contemplate and reflect. You can get to that state easily. So, where is the problem? Why it does not happen? And that is what I said. We understand intellectually when the teacher is speaking, but we do not contemplate. So when you do not contemplate, the mind returns to the same multiplicity, duality. So Master says, ask the question, how dare you say that you are an individual? What do you mean, I am Brandy? Who says you are not? Now see. Now I put on this example on myself, not on Brandy. So how dare I say that Girish is an individual? Tell me, can Girish be alive even for a moment if these five elements are not there? Now I say I'm alive, I'm talking to you. If there is no space, I cannot communicate. There is no air, I cannot say that I'm alive. They are given free of cost to us. Air does not send a bill to us. Space does not send a bill to us. No, it's a municipality, The town department, they send a bill to us. Do you see that? Can I see that oneness? The space, the air, the earth. How can I walk? Earth is not there. No, I say, no, I cannot walk because I have a knee problem. That is being an individual created by the mind due to the delusion. Did you get it? So when you expand, and that can only happen when we contemplate and reflect. And that is what we discussed on Mondays and Thursdays. Individual means three bodies and the five sheets. We have already understood. What matters, we have not contemplated. So, and we have already understood. So the false I is created. That false I is an individual. If you look deeply, there is no individual at all. All three bodies, which is exactly the same, came from the same material stuff. Now, but why we are contemplating and reflecting on this? The real thing is coming out. Are you making us insane? We are already insane, What to make you We always feel that we are individual, created in the mind by preferences, by likes and dislikes, by duality, by conflict, by the delusion. We are already insane. Sorry to say, don't feel offended. Where is this I am? This I am comes because I accept the multiplicity in my mind because of likes and dislikes. So what blocks me to discover the real self, which is all pervading, that is existence, that is permanent peace and happiness? We are talking that how to become a highest level of a seeker. So now we have reached to a point where we have understood it is the multiplicity, the duality created by the mind due to the false notion. Now, outside, you should say, he or she is my honey. But internally, the mind should not have any kind of duality. Are you getting it? It's a higher concept, but not a higher principle. Intense duality in my mind is created by the mind. I'm more intelligent than you. I'm not as intelligent as you. I'm not a, you go on. The mind creates that multiplicity. That is a part of the delusion. You are rich, I'm not. You have a beautiful nose, I don't have it. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. It is not required. What if you have a beautiful nose and I don't have? What if you are rich and I'm not? But I'm coming to the main point. Understand that. So, what I said, again, I'm repeating that multiplicity in the world outside, created by the existence, must be accepted as it is. There are mountains, there are plants and animals, we accept that multiplicity. But we don't allow to create a multiple world inside my mind. Why? Because we create a duality. And this duality created by the mind needs an immediate attention. The surgery of the mind is required. If not, the mind will remain restless, angry, agitation. I go to one couple. So when I sit there, so they kiss each other. It's a normal trend, in our country. And then they start fighting. They start arguing. I said, I know. Where is the problem? I love you. I love you, honey. And then there is a multiplicity inside my mind. They start manifesting. You do whatever you want to do. You want to hide it, it will never be hidden. So surgery of that mind is required. If you do not do a surgery of the mind, we don't become a seeker, then it becomes difficult. Due to this multiplicity, we have two types of impurities in the mind. That is the main thing. I started the topic with the multiplicity, but I'm coming. So, what is the intense impurity of the mind? So, intense impurity, can you become a higher seeker? Check yourself. So, the intense impurity means strong likes and dislikes, strong attachment and detachment, followed by the desire, followed by the hesitation, greed, everything comes along with it. That is meaning the intense impurity in the mind. Intense impurity, I was talking to Sam yesterday. Intense impurity, one word, desire. What is that desire? Desire for peace and happiness from the world outside. What is that? That makes my mind agitated. I can tell you that no text in the Eastern wisdom talked about how to manage your anger, how to manage your obsession, how to manage your no obsession like binge eating. Our master says the root cause is the desire to seek happiness from the world outside. It is the same desire that becomes strong likes and dislikes. Desire is anger, desire is greed, desire is delusion, desire is pride, desire is jealousy, desire is hatred. What is that desire? Desire to seek peace and happiness from the person, from the object, from the world, from the event outside. That is the intense impurity. So if you understand in terms of likes and dislikes, it's okay. If you understand that I normally get angry, it is the same thing. I am greedy, it is the same thing. I get frustrated, it is the same thing. I get extreme fatigue in doing my professional activity, it is the same. Intense impurity. That is the first level. And the mind impurity, distractions. My mind is wandering here and there. It becomes sleepy during the practice of meditation. One guy from the New Jersey group, he says, I got a very good sleep. I said, very good. Keep sleeping. Meditation is meant to sleep. Unless that mild impurity is not recognized by contemplation and reflection, how can you get rid of it? You see, if you remove that desire, but the Sam was saying, I have a desire, I have an obsession for the pasta because that gives me happiness. I cannot eat any other thing except the pasta. So there is a delusion. So desire is a delusion. Why the desire is a delusion? Because I find happiness eating pasta. See? So this demands immediate surgery of the mind. And how the surgery of the mind takes place? By contemplation and reflection. If you do not think, that is why I started the topic that we talk too much, we walk too little. Why I walk too little? I did a meditation. I came out of the meditation. Honey, my meditation was disturbed by you. Why? You were talking too loudly. What it has to do with talking too loudly in meditation? What? Mind is already there. Now I'm doing such a great thing, noble work, moral work. Mild impurity is all about restlessness of the mind. Now, once we understand the problem in the mind, if we do not remove both the impurities, we cannot become the highest level of a seeker. And if we do not become the highest level of a seeker, what this master is saying, that is why I skipped the fourth chapter. I jumped into the sixth until the last week, and then I returned again. I said, let me see. Before we recognize and realize the real self, these two impurities must go. Otherwise, the wrong notions about the world will continue, and that will continue to haunt my mind. One more thing, and then we will go for it. So, even the master says this intense impurities are works at the three levels. The first level, that you have a little dust on the mirror, and just you take a napkin and you clean it. Second level is sticky, so you put the water and then you need to clean it. And third is very intense. I'll not talk in detail. The intense level of this kind of the impurity must be dealt with action. What is that action? You wake up in the morning today, you look at your honey, you come out with a feeling of love and the kindness. See that what kind of a self-giving you should do in your action. That will remove your preference of likes and dislikes. Start with the family, then with your kids or parents, whosoever lives in the house. Then you start with your friends. Means I have to make this mind busy with action that is unselfish. Because selfish means likes and dislikes. I'm not going in deeper into that. That is the part of the karma yoga. And the mild impurities by regular practice, contemplation, and reflection. And just very little dust on the mirror, that you have preferences of likes and dislikes. You remind yourself multiplicity in the world should exist, it should not exist in my mind, and it goes away. That mind is ready for meditation. Yeah. So let us close your eyes, and close your eyes. See that. Close your eyes. Body is steady. You are aware of eyes are closed. Body is steady.